Hello my fellow Archons and welcome to day 6 of KeyForge Christmas. It is crazy. We're going to be halfway done with KeyForge Christmas by the time this video is over. But today I have to present to you guys my three favorite Legacy decks. These are my three favorite decks that have a Legacy in them. And obviously I already covered a couple decks that have Legacies in past videos, such as my Legacy Brig deck from Worlds Collide and everything. So I have three different Legacies to show you guys today, and I think it'll be a good time. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty, so we will start out with this one right here, Warlord C Modonul, with Mars, Dis, and Untamed. And this is an Age of Ascension deck that has a legacy of a card that we've talked about during this 12 Days of KeyForge Christmas series already. So starting off with Untamed, we have Telega, Kindreth Longshot, Lifeweb. Now, this Untamed pod is a little bit rough. It does have triple Save the Pack, which you never like to see that many Save the Packs, I tell you what. Rustnar, Regrowth, Grovekeeper, Double Glimmer, Full Moon, Invasion Portal, and then here it is, the Legacy Aether Spider from Call of the Archons. Aether Spider, like I've said before, is one of my favorite cards ever, so to have a Legacy version of him in an Age of Ascension deck is super exciting. And then we'll go over the rest of the deck and the synergies that I have with this guy, because they're kind of cool. We have Red Planet Raygun, Orbital Bombardment, Xanthix Harvester, Beambuckler, Skybooster Squadron, Mother Gun, Mars Needs Ember, Mars First, Carpet Flotsam, Agent Human, then into the Dis with the Tolus, Key to Dis, Hecatomb, Tentacus, Hysteria, Tesmal, Misery Exploit, Lash of Broken Dreams, Exhume, Dust Imp, Cold the Weak, and Charette. But the Legacy Aether Spider obviously is the star of this deck, and one of the things I like about it so much is that there are so many ways to recur the Aether Spider, just to get it back, to continue annoying the opponent and forcing them to deal with it. So there's the Aether Spider up here. Obviously we have the Exhume that I could use to get him back. Let me take a look here. There was also a number of things in Untamed that gets him back, such as the Double Glimmer could get the Aether Spider back, Regrowth, and I think that's about it. So 4 cards total that can get the Aether Spider back. Regrowth, Double Glimmer, Exhume. I mean, because just forcing the opponent to deal with the Aether Spider over and over and over, and forcing their resources into dealing with Aether Spider is just so disruptive for them. I mean, because they literally cannot advance in the game unless they have this guy dealt with. So yeah, Aether Spider as a Legacy in AoA is a lot of fun. And the rest of the deck is pretty fun as well. I mean, this Untamed pod, like I said before, is not ideal. Obviously, there's the Grovekeeper here that could boost up Aether Spider's power from turn to turn, which is quite fun. Telega is really annoying for the opponent to deal with as well. So yeah, overall, I really enjoy this deck. Obviously, it's not like the most insane deck ever. Using Mars First on an Aether Spider feels kind of weird sometimes, just because it's not really something that you ever really see. Yeah, it's a fun deck. It's not crazy or anything, but it has a Legacy of one of my favorite cards, so I thought it'd be cool to show you guys. Alright, let's move on to the second deck. Alrighty, so our second deck is a Mass Mutation deck called Cazienne Statilius-Sanders Rogue with Untamed, Shadows, and Sanctum. And this deck actually belonged to my brother first. He opened it, but it has a Legacy in here of a card that I'm so excited to have a Legacy of that I was just like, I will literally trade you any one of my decks so I can have this deck. So without further ado, let's take a look at the cards here. In Untamed, we have Word of Returning, Blossom Drake, Emberlution with a Capture, Vault's Blessing, Commune, Emberspine Mongrel, Double, which, Emberspine Mongrel is so good. 2 of them is even better. Reclaimed by Nature, Lost in the Woods, Double, Keyfrog, Ghost Hawk, and then into Shadows with the Lyco Thief, Safe Place with a Capture, One Last Job, which is a really good card in this deck, Mole, Perplexing Sophistry, Nexus, Mug with a Capture, Gamgee with a Damage, Gamgee, Damo Thief, Double Damo Thief, Boniving, and then here is the Legacy that I was so excited to have. A Legacy Doorstep to Heaven. This is actually my second favorite card in the whole game. So when my brother opened up this Mass Mutation deck with the Legacy Doorstep to Heaven, I was like, I need to have this. I need to have this. Legacy Doorstep to Heaven, Scrivener Fabian, Radiant Truth with a Capture, Equalize, Seeker of Truth, Gizelhart's Zealot, General Salvador, Double, this one with a Capture, Commandeer, Champion of Nephiel, Burning Glare, and Ardent Hero with a Capture. I mean, so obviously this Sanctum House is very fun. Scrivener Fabian with 3 Capture Pips showing up in Sanctum is really awesome. Get a steal of 3 off of that. But the Legacy Doorstep, Mass Mutation is a set that doesn't have a whole lot of scaling Ember control outside of something like Effervescent Principle. So here's a deck with some additional scaling Ember control in the form of a Legacy Doorstep to Heaven, which is so exciting. But yeah, I have a lot of fun with this deck. The Sanctum Pod is a lot of fun. The Shadows Pod is also pretty fun. Demo Thief is one of the perfect destroyed steal 1 creatures. I mean, just because only 2 power, it doesn't have skirmish or anything, and you steal 1 when it's destroyed, so it's really cool that way. This One Last Job is very powerful in this deck because there are a whole bunch of Shadows creatures that I don't really mind having purged. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 7 Shadows creatures, like Lyco Thief, get this thing out of here. Gamgees, I don't really care for all too much. Bone Kniving is nice late game, but I mean, I don't mind purging him either if it's like a really big steal with One Last Job. Demo Thieves, I might consider not purging just because I can recur that steal effect if they're destroyed. Nexus, get that guy out of here, I don't really care. Unless I'm up against a deck that has some important artifacts that I might want to use, then I might want to keep him around. Mole is such an awesome card. I actually played with this deck against the one and only Zach Armstrong from Call of Discovery at KeyForge Celebration. Before the whole event started, we were just sort of sitting down playing some games, and I actually played this deck against him. And One Last Job almost brought it back for me. I didn't quite win, but One Last Job did a lot of work in that match. So the Sanctum is fun, the Shadows is fun, the Untamed also has some fun stuff in there. Ghost Hawk is cool, Key Frog is a threat, Lost in the Woods to put some creatures back, Reclaimed by Nature for some artifact control, Emberlution. There's just some solid cards in there, but obviously the Legacy Doorstep to Heaven has to be the star of this deck for me. Just such a great card. Alrighty, let's move on to the third and final deck of this video. Alrighty, deck number 3 of my top 3 favorite Legacy decks in my collection. We have Rikka, Sage of the Unruly Cavern with Shadows, Brobnar, Mars. This is another Age of Ascension deck. And let's just get into the cards before I start talking about it too much. In Brobnar, we have 1-2 Punch, Double, Brammo, Coward's End, Cowfine, Gauntlet of Command, Groggins, Groak, Into the Fray, Blood of Titans, Flamethrower, Relentless Assault. Into the Mars, we have Mind Warper, Tixel Beam Buckler, Zizix Shockworm, Combat Pheromones, Double. And here is actually the first of 2 Legacies. This is actually a double Legacy deck, and this is the first of them. A Legacy Squawker, ready a Mars creature or stun a non-Mars creature from Call of the Archons, which is really cool. We've got Hypno Beam, Key Abduction, Uxlux the Zookeeper, Zorg, and then this is another sort of weird aspect of the deck. It's actually has a double Yizfiz No Drone, which is kind of a funky card. Archive a card, you may purge an archived card to stun a creature. So yeah, it's very, very funky. So you can archive your own thing and then purge it to stun a creature, or it actually reads you may purge an archived card to stun a creature. So that includes the enemy's archived cards as well, the opponent's archived cards. So you can purge one of their cards and stun a creature that way. Moving into the Shadows, we have Bad Penny, Gamgee, Triple Knuckles Bolton, Life for a Life, Ronnie, and then the Legacy, One Last Job. We were just talking about One Last Job, and this AOA deck has a Legacy, One Last Job. And so obviously, it makes these this Triple Knuckles Bolton not quite as bad because I can just purge all of them and get those crappy creatures out of my deck. They're like the perfect fodder for a Legacy One Last Job. There's Swindle, Whistling Darts, Yantzee Gang, and a Treasure Map. So yeah, I was actually super pumped to open a double Legacy deck because those are very few and far between. And what's funny is that this deck actually came in the same display as my new 98 SAS AOA deck. So that was just like the jackpot Age of Ascension display. A double Legacy, a 98 SAS. There were also a couple decks in that display that had Mavericks. So I mean, it was just like the ultimate Age of Ascension display. But yeah, this deck is fun. I mean, this One Last Job is so cool because I can just purge all these useless fodder creatures from Shadows and just get them out of my deck. So I mean, like the Triple Knuckles, Gamgee, Bad Penny, just purge those things, get them out of here with One Last Job and steal a whole bunch of Ember off of it. Swindle is an awesome card. Treasure Map is an awesome card. This Mars House is so weird. I mean, the double Yizfiz No Drone is like, they're always like stunning stuff when I archive things. The Key Abduction, Hypno Beam, Squawker is so cool. Just to be able to instantly ready something like the Zookeeper. Or the Mind Warper, obviously. And then the Brobnar has some real firepower as well, like putting a Blood of Titans on Groggins and then using Into the Fray on it with a Relentless Assault. That Gauntlet of Command. Like, it has that clutch board clear with the Coward's End. It's a fun deck overall. Double Legacy, so I obviously had to share it with you guys. It's right up there with my favorites, just because of that aspect. But I think that'll do it for today. Those are my top three favorite decks with Legacies in them from my collection. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys see any synergies that maybe I missed, or that maybe I should do a live stream with these decks at some point, just so you guys can see them in action. But yeah, I think that'll do it for day 6 of KeyForge Christmas. We are halfway done. Thanks to all of you who have tuned in to this series. It's been a lot of fun. It's been cool to see you guys enjoying the series. And obviously be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next 6 days, on the second half of the series, and obviously on the giveaway that's happening January 5th once the 12 days are over. And more details will be coming on that giveaway soon. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you all again in the next one. See you later.